Teresa's in North Carolina, and I'm sure if we search engine it right now, in fact, guys, just search Army to conduct drills North Carolina or Army to conduct urban drills in city, and you'll get probably 20, 30, maybe more hits. In fact, we'll see it maybe in the hundreds. Arkansas, Texas, California, Iowa, and we've had the colonels on the show that run it, and it's in the local paper. You know, they announced in Arcadia, we're going to run checkpoints, and we're going to practice locking the town down and looking for illegal guns, and we're going to go door to door and ask citizens if we search. It's only a drill. But then simultaneously, all over the country, including Dallas, Texas, for now 3 years, the Dallas Morning News reports like it's a good thing. So we get most of our information from mainstream news, but they spin it. They go, isn't it good in Dallas that they come to even the wealthy neighborhoods? My point is, people say, oh, well, that's for the poor, dangerous folks. No, it's for everybody. And they knock, and they say, we're doing a knock and talk. Ma'am, mind if we look at your firearms, make sure they're legal? And they do it. And now in Boston, they force their way in without a warrant. Chicago's doing it. Arnold, who has a 27-point approval rating, the lowest of any California governor ever. I have that. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He just passed a law that basically all ammo, they say it's just handgun ammo, but the way it's written, it's basically all ammo because they have rifles that handgun ammo can shoot in, so that's how they manipulate it. And he just says, you're going to biometrically scan, we're going to register you to buy ammo. Now they want to pass another law already announcing, as we knew they would do, to make it illegal to have out-of-state ammo. California sets the precedent for the rest of the country. California has fallen. Many people say they're glad they moved to the United States, moving out of California. Going back to Teresa. Teresa, what town are you in that they're planning on occupying for 3 or 4 days, I would guess?
Exactly. That's exactly what they said. They said they'll be here 3 or 4 days. They just want to make sure that if New York has some kind of catastrophe that we could handle the influx. I thought, how crazy is that? But
excuse me. Let me stop you. See, I'm getting key intel. In January, we had emergency managers from Indiana and other states on, and then later mainstream news confirmed it. They said a big flu's coming, martial law, millions dead. We need to be able to lock down your small towns in Indiana if Chicago collapses. So, see, they're definitely doing infrastructure takeover. Now they're not just saying, oh, this is for Afghanistan or Iraq. They're admitting this is for America. Tell us what they're saying. Tell us what the news is saying. Tell us what the city council's saying, and tell us the town.
The town is Warrenton. It's a little town north. We're only about 20 miles south of Virginia in North Carolina. And the news hasn't said anything. I mean, I got my information personally from a friend here who went to the meeting, and he was overthrown, but he tried his best to say, we don't need you here. We can take care of our own. You know, we don't need this kind of
but the regular army wants to help. Now,
yeah, exactly. And also, Alex, I've noticed just recently that they started revamping the old armory here.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, you know, where my mind took me there, I thought, oh, my goodness.
Everywhere they're taking the armories or the old bases, there's legislation in Congress, but they're just doing it without the legislation. Kind of like they spy without the legislation, without warrants. And they call them fusion centers, threat integration centers. Matrix integration centers is the real federal name. The matrix system is what they call it. That was in the Miami papers. But the point is that they are merging the police, the locals, everything into it. And it's the total takeover of your town. So what else did they say about the meeting?
Well, they just said they want to come up and do some urban training. And it's like this commissioner friend I have said, you know, we don't need you here. This is, we don't work like that. Y'all need to go train in Mexico or someplace. But we don't have any reason for you to be here to train us or to use our little town. This is nothing like you'd be going, you know, overseas or wherever. He said, go to someplace more like where you're supposed to be shipped later. And,
well, ma'am, I'll tell you how to beat the program.
All right.
It was in I'm having one of those moments. What's the major town right outside of Fort Bragg? Fayetteville?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it just popped in my head, literally. The Fayetteville paper, as well as the AP, I want to say 6, maybe 7 years ago, ran the article where they told one department they were going to train with the military. And these are always drills to take over the city and the county. I mean, I've been to many of them myself. And had troops march up in America and turn my camera off. That's in my police state films. It's happened to other people that we've had out there with cameras. But the issue here is they sent out Special Forces cadets who were about to graduate. They said it was their last test. And they went up to police on the side of the road and would come out of the woods and try to tackle them and disarm them. And the cops thought they were under attack and killed 2 of them. Now, this was in one mishap. And a large percentage of the time, people get killed or get hurt during these drills because they get hotter and hotter, more and more real. I would find those articles, print those off, and I would bring those to the city council. And I would speak in the city council. But thank you so much for calling. Now, there, I said I would go to calls quickly, but I just spent 10 minutes with her because that subject is so important. Mike in Israel. Mike, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, sir. Thank you for having me, and I wanted to wish you a lot of luck on your upcoming film. I know a lot of us are going to be out there watching it, anxiously waiting. I wanted to bring up a couple of points here today. Earlier you were talking about violence in today's society as well as video games and so forth, and I just wanted to reflect as someone born here in the mid-'80s that I see more and more in today's society that violence is becoming so socialized and so accepted that young people are going around playing games where they openly kill each other online, and how they have the joy and the pleasure of doing this, and how it really does affect society if they're thinking to make people accept the things that are coming in the near future by passively showing these images and styles of violence to people to subconsciously make them accept that. So I just wanted to tell you that I do definitely see that in my generation and younger generations as well coming out. And my second point that I wanted to bring up to you would be about what you think, being that the elites out there and the global people behind the scenes, how they have such a depth of control in our everyday lives, such as capitalism and corporatism. If their reach wouldn't be farther than that, I know that in hard times like this, a lot of people reach out to alternative means of faith and keeping the hope up, especially religion. But have you dwelled into the thought that religion may also be controlled or a tool of the elites to kind of keep the people in their place? For example, my views on this would be to say that previous kings and monarchs, and especially Europe in the past days, used to use the idea that God had given the right and the rulership to these kings to be able to control the people for their best interests and so forth. And we have
that's the distortion of Romans 13. That's one of the establishment's favorite little tricks they use. Look, I'm a Christian, but I don't beat people over the head with it, and I don't sit around judging everybody. I judge people on their actions and their fruits, because I see so much evil coming out of the Muslims, out of the Christians, out of the Jews, out of the Hindus. What you have is, out of the atheist, out of the animist, you have evil people in control of all the major religious groups and organizations. I mean, I haven't found one major international group that isn't controlled. And at the top, the controllers are these eugenicists who believe that they are God and that it's their right to make the world in their image, which is a nightmare world. And so I just talk about love and standing up for what's right and standing up to big centralized government. Because big centralized government, as George Washington said, government is not eloquence, it is force. It is like fire, a dangerous servant and a fearful master. And so if we can reduce the size of government, reduce the size of corporate welfare, get local control, then even if your local area is a tyranny, you can run somewhere else. But if you have a global tyranny over all nations, all regions, all states, all counties, all cities, a standardized tyranny, that's a very hard tyranny to beat. And so number one, I'm just trying to get people to realize there's a bigger world out there, a larger agenda, a larger operation taking place. To not believe exactly what I'm saying, but to just discover the wider world for themselves and to question and to research and to then stand up and get involved and get active. But yes, the fake Christian church, both Catholic and Protestant, but especially Protestant, and I'm from a Protestant background, teach people, lay down, it's the end of the world, you can't stand up to evil, praise God, it's getting worse. That means we'll be teleported out of here by Captain Kirk or by Scotty.